to Kourtside with PLR and Ed Cole. First show live on StreamYard, coming to you on Facebook and every other thing Ed has set up. I'm going to let him introduce that one. It's the man himself, the one, the only Ed Cole. What's good, bro?
What's up, brother, man? It's good to be with you on Kourtside with PLR. We're kicking this thing off, man. We're doing this live on Facebook and on my Facebook page and my Twitter account. We're going to get you all hooked up for Twitch next week, bro. So we are doing big things, talking NBA basketball, a whole lot of NBA basketball to talk about, brother.
Well, first off, I didn't like your introduction. You said Kourtside with PLR. Could you read the bottom?
Let me bring that graphic up there. Oh, there. Kourtside with PLR and Ed Cole. There we go. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You want to throw yourself in. You're there, right? I mean,
yes.
That is you, isn't it?
That's me.
You,
yes.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. That's you, right? That's you.
Yeah. You see the gray. I got a lot of gray. I'm gonna cut the gray down, not next week, but the week after.
Okay.
I'm gonna cut it down a little bit.
Okay. I think that looked dope.
Yeah. Yeah, you just trim it up a little bit, but right now I'm going to let it rock a little bit longer. That way I can have the natural greatness.
Yes.
So, listen, bro, I think we should kick it off where the kickoff gets to the kickoff. And I really like the fact
to the kickoff.
I like we spoke about the All-Star game, and I think that's the perfect place to start. The fact that they're playing the All-Star game in itself is literally like a layover business trip. Fly in the night before, play the game, get back out. There'll be no festivities. There'll be no hanging out for the players. None of that. No parties, no dinners, no anything. So just give your thoughts first on the fact that they're actually playing this All-Star game.
Paul, I think it is great that Adam Silver and the NBA and the NBA PA came together and figured out that they're going to actually have an All-Star game on March 7th down in the ATL at State Farm Arena, home of the Atlanta Hawks. I know it took a lot of doing to get this together and logistics-wise to get all this worked out, where all the players will fly on private jets and they'll have a limited amount of friends and family that can come with them. But as you said, bro, it's to the hotel and to the arena. After the arena, you get on those private jets and you're out of there. They're not messing around with no festivities. As you said, they'll do all their skills competitions before the game. At halftime, they'll have the slam dunk contest. So that'll be pretty exciting. And then you'll have the game. And as we talked about before, the NBA is donating about $2.5 to $3 million toward HBCUs and toward COVID-19 research and help, and that's in that aspect. So it's good that the NBA is kicking in a couple $1 million to help with HBCUs and COVID-19 research efforts. But I think it's going to be exciting, bro. You know, it's a year unlike any other, and we got our All-Star starters, and the other day we got our All-Star reserves. I know we're not happy about some of the reserves that weren't called in, a la Devin Booker, but we'll get into that.
Let me ask you a question off topic. If you had went to an HBCU, which one would it have been?
Oh, Howard, because I'm from the DMV, so I'd go to Howard.
I got you. Just
what about you, bro?
It would have been a tie between Howard and I got accepted at Howard and at Florida A&M.
Did you really?
So yeah, yep. But I picked here ASU. Honestly, for a lot of different reasons. I didn't want to. If I was going to go to a big city, I would have stayed where I was in Chicago. And what people don't know about A&M, you're pretty much in Southern Alabama. So,
right? Yes, might as well
be. No, I don't even want my plane to fly over Alabama. So I'm good.
Paul, how do you feel about the NBA All-Star game? We're actually going to have one in a couple weeks.
Mixed feelings, to be perfectly honest with you. I could have done without it. I think just naming the All-Stars would have been good enough. And I think that would have been fine. I understand the business. I understand you need the lights and the cameras and the biggest of the biggest and the best of the best to get together to play an exhibition game. I understand there's a lot that goes into this. It's not just the game or a slam dunk contest. Players release shoes. They release different looks. They show up in different outfits. They have their apparel deals. There's there's so much more to it. For the superstars like LeBron, yeah, he'll move more shoes because he'll have his LeBron All-Star editions, but he could do a commercial and move shoes. So guys that have been in the league 16, 15, 10 years, multiple All-Stars, I think for them it's not as important as a guy that's newer to the league and he's in his first All-Star game to get there and build that bond with other players that they don't really see or talk to. So I can see it. I'm split. If they had not done it, I would have been fine. Doing it, I'm fine. So it gives us something to do that Sunday.
Yeah, and I know I'm pretty sure the players would like to have that time off, especially coming off such a quick turnaround from the NBA Finals. I think the Lakers had like 70 or 71 days off. The Miami Heat had about that same amount of time. So there's not much time for these guys to turn their bodies around, especially LeBron. He's in year 17, Paul? He's not as young as he used to be. He's not as spry, although he looks really good on the court, but still, he's got miles on him, along with a lot of other players that would love to have that little bit of time off from a physical and mental standpoint. But it is what it is. They're part of the All-Star game, and this is part of their obligation.
I think the one thing we have to be careful with, that we do that a lot, we go, how's this going to affect LeBron? How's this going to affect LeBron? It's not – he is the face. I get that, but it's not always about how it's going to affect him. And we say that so much, because of who he is, what he's done, and what he means to the league. But we know this, and you know this from doing this so long. He's going to retire one day. The league's going to keep going. It's not like,
right.
It wasn't like Kareem retired so the league stopped. Magic retired so the league stopped. Michael retired so the league stopped. It's not going to stop when LeBron retires. So as much as we want to take into consideration, as much as we want to take into consideration that it's hard on him and it's hard on his legs, there's 29 other dudes out there. So once the NBA made the decision, it was going to be either with him or without him. But the show was going to go on. The ship was going to sail. It was going to leave port. The cruise was going to cruise. So
right.
It was just a matter of it. But I can understand his frustrations. And I can understand them saying, well, the Lakers don't have as much time. Well, there's a price to pay. What did James Brown say? Got to pay the cost to be the boss. Well, the bad side for you is you just played. The upside for a guy look at Julius Randle's made the All-Star team.
Yes.
Julius Randle, I know we're going to get into all that, but Julius Randle was a guy that played for the Lakers. They really didn't want him. They wanted to go a different direction, so they moved him to Charlotte. Charlotte really didn't want him because they wanted a chance to get someone different, so they went another direction. He goes to the Knicks. The Knicks are garbage. The Knicks took him because they had to make the deal, and they needed him down there. So, so whatever, he could score a little bit. Now he's an all-star. You don't think the Knicks that didn't play a meaningful game since last year, March, to finally have an all-star, you don't think that's big for that guy to go? You know what I mean? So I think we got to look at it from both sides.
Oh, goodness, yes. And now that the Knicks are actually in the playoff hunt, Tom Thibodeau has come in and made this team. He's totally revitalized his team, Paul. He's brought a different culture, a different attitude, a different mindset to a New York Knicks team that we haven't seen have this kind of feeling about itself, this kind of confidence about itself as an organization in years. And now they're relevant. Again, they are in the playoff chase, and you've got an all-star there alongside Zach LaVine. These guys, they're young guys. He's making his first all-star appearance, albeit as a reserve, but he'll still play. So, these guys are going to go all out come March 7th. They're going to ball because this is their first time. This is their first chance, and they're hungry.
Yeah. So, and I know we're going to get in here, and I don't want to keep sidetracking this, but you have guys that are playing in all-star teams in this all-star game, like a Zach LaVine, and the Bulls really didn't change much except the head coach and the mentality. New York didn't really change much except the head coach and the mentality. So these guys deserve it. They deserve that opportunity. So, yeah, I'm glad the game is being played on that view. But with that COVID devil out there, I can understand if they didn't play it and just named guys to the All-Star team. So all different deal. But we talked about the teams. We talked about the reserves. we knew the starters, and we'll start with the East. We knew KD, Kyrie, Bradley Beal, Joel Embiid, and Greek Freak were already voted in. And then we came up with this list last week, and I wrote it all down. We said Nikola Vucevic, Zach LaVine, James Harden, Trae Young, Jaylen Brown, Bam Adebayo, Julius Randle, Sabonis, Simmons, and Tatum. And we said, pick your 7 from there. And we each were off on a couple, and we were on with a couple that, or we each missed one. I didn't think Zach LaVine was going to get in. Even though the Bulls are on a hunt, the Bulls do not have a winning record. What made you comfortable in thinking he was going to get in this game?
Zach?
Yeah, because you said he was going to be in.
Yeah, I picked Zach LaVine just simply because he's played well, Paul. Yeah, the Bulls are middling. They're okay. They're all right. They're better than they were over the last 5 to 8 years. This is a better basketball team. But Zach has really shined for the Chicago Bulls. And why not let the young man get his first selection and be a reserve? Because he's played well and he's deserved it. He's put up numbers and he's looked like an all-star all year long. So why not give Zach his first nod?
Can we back up a little bit? The Bulls are middling there. Is that how you introduce an all-star team? I mean,
an all-star player, not a team.
On a playoff team, though. So is that the way we introduce them? They're just a middle-of-the-road bunch? That seems kind of disrespectful. Maybe it's just me, but it sounded.
It wasn't meant to be disrespectful, bro. No.
I'm just.
Well, Paul, if you want to get technical, they're number 6 in the Eastern Conference. They're 15-16. They're 5.5 games behind the number 1 seeded Philadelphia 76ers. So is that not middling to you? Is that not middle? That's the root word of middling, middle. They're 1 game under 500, which would be middle.
Well, but they're a playoff team as of today, and the Sixers are a loaded team that's supposed to compete for a championship, and they're 5 games back. That's not like they're, it's not like they're 10 games back, 15 games back, already going 1-2-3 Cancun. Maybe it was a delivery. The delivery.
I think it was a delivery. No, they're not the Detroit Pistons. Paul, they're not the Detroit Pistons when they've only won 9 games all season.
Okay.
So let me give respect where it's due. Yes, the Bulls are in the hunt. They've won 15 games. So let's give them those props. I'll give your Bulls, your hometown team, those props. I apologize, bro.
No worries. That had nothing to do with home team because I don't, I'm neutral. When I'm doing this stuff, I'm neutral.
You're Switzerland. Right. That's right. Mm-hmm.
Completely Switzerland. And I'll tell you, sure. I'll tell you a guy that I said that would be in, and we just talked about him, Julius Randle.
Yes, sir.
Tell me this, Ed. Is Julius Randle how can I say this respectfully? He's basically Zion Williams, except not as athletic.
I agree, yes.
Or he's Zach Randolph.
But
just
more
not
athletic?
as strong. But more athletic, not as strong.
Yes.
Zach strong. So he's somewhere in there. But this kid is playing, man, and he deserves this all-star game that he's going to.
Yes.
And let's talk about the guys that made it. Vucevic, Zach, Harden, Jaylen Brown, Julius Randle, Ben Simmons, and Jason Tatum. If you had to take one guy off and put one guy on, who would it be, or are you perfectly fine the way it is?
Dude, I wanted Tobias Harris on there. Of course, I wanted Trae Young on there because, he's killing it for the Atlanta Hawks. Bruh, I wouldn't take anybody off of this team. If you could add an 8th person, I would probably put Tobias on there or maybe Chris Middleton. Chris is having a good year in Milwaukee. He's having an equal year to what he had last year when he was an all-star. But if they added an 8th spot, I would put Trae Young or Tobias Harris on there. Either one of those guys deserve to be an all-star. But as it stands, I would not take any of these 7 off. Would you? Who would you?